Welcome to Case Files, the show where we delve into the stories behind the headlines. I'm your host, Alex. With me, as always, is our lead storyteller, Ben.
Good to be here.
Ben, you've brought us a case today that is not only a gripping mystery, but also a testament to incredible police work. It's a story that starts with a tragic discovery and unravels into a web of betrayal and unimaginable cruelty.
That's right, Alex. This is a case that was solved in just 4 days, which is remarkable when you hear the details. It all begins in Alexandria, Egypt in 2022, on a busy pedestrian bridge during the morning rush hour.
What did they find?
Commuters noticed a cardboard box left on the bridge. Inside, wrapped in a blood-stained blanket, was the body of a young girl, about 6 or 7 years old. The scene was brutal. Her hands and feet were tied, a cloth was stuffed in her mouth, and her body was covered in bruises. It was clear she had been tortured before she was killed.
A horrific discovery in such a public place. What were the initial leads for the police?
They had very little to go on. No one in the area recognized the girl. The initial theory was that she might be a street child, a victim of a random brutal attack. The police's first step was to check all the missing person reports, not just in Alexandria, but in surrounding regions as well.
And the forensic report? What did that tell them?
It confirmed their worst fears. The cause of death was strangulation. The torture had been prolonged, and she had been tied up for a long time before she died. The level of cruelty was immense. But there was one key detail. She had not been sexually assaulted. This wasn't a crime of passion in that sense. It was something else, something colder.
So the police have a body with no name and a motive that's completely unclear.
Exactly. They reviewed hours of CCTV footage from around the bridge. For a long time, nothing. Then they spotted something from the night before, around 11 p.m. A woman in a full-face veil, a niqab, and a man in a cap are seen walking onto the bridge carrying a blanket. 2 minutes later, they walk off without it. So they have their suspects on camera, but they're completely disguised.
Right. They were able to track their path into a nearby working-class neighborhood, but then the camera trail went cold. The police canvassed the area, but no one reported a missing child. It seemed like they had hit a dead end.
But the investigation didn't stop there.
No. While one team was on the ground, another was sifting through old missing person reports from other governorates. And they found something strange.
A report filed over a year ago from a man named Mohammed in Al-Qayyubiyah. He claimed his wife, Hend, had run away with their 3 children and vanished without a trace.
And one of those children matched the description of the victim?
One of them did. The youngest daughter, Hajar, was 7 years old, the same age as the girl on the bridge. The police contacted Mohammed and he rushed to Alexandria. At the morgue, he confirmed the unthinkable. The murdered child was his daughter, Hajar.
I can't even imagine that moment. His missing daughter found like this.
His first reaction, through his grief, was to beg the police to find his other 2 children and his wife, Hend. He had no idea what had happened, but he knew they were in danger. The police now had a name for their victim and a prime suspect, the mother, Hend. So the search for Hend begins. What did they find out about her?
The investigation revealed that Hend, who worked as a factory supervisor, was having an affair with a coworker. And, just like Hend and the children, Ahmed had also disappeared from Al-Qayyubiyah over a year ago. The pieces were starting to fit together.
So Hend didn't just run away, she ran away with her lover.
Exactly. The police now had a name and a photo for the man in the cap. They took Ahmed's picture back to the neighborhood where the disguised couple had disappeared, and a local broker recognized him. He told the police that Ahmed had been renting an apartment there for the past year with his wife and their children.
So they had their location.
They did. The police raided the apartment. They found Hend inside, holding a newborn baby. And they also found her other 2 children, Ihab and Habiba. The children were alive, but they were covered in bruises and clearly terrified. What was Hend's story?
She tried to play the victim, claiming she had run away from her abusive husband, Mohammed, to protect her children. She even claimed that Hajar, the daughter she had murdered, had run away a few days earlier. But her story fell apart instantly. The 2 older children, as soon as they saw the police, started begging for help. They told the officers everything. They had witnessed their own mother and her lover murder their little sister.
The children were the key witnesses to their own sister's murder by their mother.
Yes, they described how for months, Hend and Ahmed had starved and tortured all three of them. The goal, it seems, was to get rid of Muhammad's children to make way for their new family with their new baby. Hajar, being the youngest, cried the most from the hunger and pain,
which annoyed Ahmed. He demanded that Hend silence her.
And Hend's solution was to kill her own daughter?
She tied her up, and when that didn't stop her cries, she and Ahmed strangled her with a piece of cloth right in front of her brother and sister. They then disguised themselves, dumped the body on the bridge, and returned home as if nothing had happened.
The level of cruelty is almost incomprehensible. What was the outcome of the trial?
Both Hend and her lover, Ahmed, were sentenced to death. This wasn't just a case of a mother who snapped. This was a calculated, long-term plan to erase her past, including her own children, for the sake of a new life with a new man. It's a story that shows how far a person's selfishness can take them and the devastating cost for the innocent children caught in the middle.
A truly heart-wrenching story that highlights the darkest aspects of human nature. Thank you for sharing it, Ben. If you, our listeners, have been moved by this story, please show your support for the channel. Like this video, subscribe to see more of our work, and share it with your friends. Your engagement helps these stories reach a wider audience and ensures that victims like Hajar are never forgotten.
Thank you, everyone.
That's all for this episode of Case Files. Join us next time for another look into the stories that shape our world.